That's a place that Jessi Pierce would love from NHL.com Minnesota and the Bar Down Beauties podcast. It's like a driving range for golf or a batting cage for baseball, Jessi. It's shooting lanes for hockey. It's awesome. Check that out next time you're in Calgary. Would you mind, Jessi, giving us what's popping in Wild training camp? We're all curious.
Yeah, unfortunate news out of training camp yesterday. Forward Matt Boldy, week to week with a lower body injury, but Minnesota Wild fans and hockey fans can breathe a little bit. Doesn't seem to be serious. Sounds like Boldy will be back in time for the regular season opener on October 10th against the Columbus Blue Jackets, if not before the end of camp as well. So not great news. Otherwise, things are popping. We're looking at a lot of familiar faces, a couple new guys that are trying to make the roster. But for the most part, things are flowing well here in the state of hockey.
How many holes are there in that lineup? Because I was a little surprised. Paul Maurice here in South Florida said there's not that many spots open with the Panthers. I'm like, you lost 9 guys from last year's team. There's got to be more than a few. What about the Wild? How many jobs are up for grab?
You're looking at maybe 2 if you are lucky. A lot of players locked into contract extensions. Bill Guerin doing some work early last year to lock up Ryan Hartman, Marcus Foligno, Matt Zuccarello, and then you already had the long-term extensions of Joel Eriksson-Ek, Matt Boldy, Freddie Gaudreau. So a lot of spots already taken up. Marcus Johansson's got a year left on his contract. But I am looking at Liam Ogren as a guy that could really vouch for that spot, possibly to move into the lineup. Jakob, excuse me, I'm going to say this right. Jakob Loco. Thank you very much, right? There's Yakov Trenin, and then we've got Jakob Loco. There's a whole lot of yakking going on in Minnesota. Those are 2 guys that Bill Guerin added in the offseason. But other than that, it's been quiet again. Last year of that buyout salary cap restraint from Zach Parise and Ryan Suter buyouts. So not a lot of movement, not a lot of opportunities for too many guys, unfortunately, this year.
What is, just out of sheer curiosity, what is the contract status of Kirill Kaprizov?
The conversation technically can start July 1. He's got another this year and next season. But obviously those conversations need to be beginning now, a little behind the scenes, right? I mean, you need to make Kirill happy. I think everybody has known that from Bill Guerin on down, and they've certainly been doing their best to show that. But I think that starts with making the playoffs this year. You don't make the playoffs this year, I imagine Mr. Kaprizov isn't going to be too eager to re-sign and extend in Minnesota. But I think all focus is on having those conversations, making sure Kirill is happy so he can be in a Minnesota Wild uniform long term.
What is the, before we talk about a few other things, what is the Greece situation, A, and B, how's my guy, the Flower, look?
Oh, I love Marc-Andre Fleury. I don't know how you can't love a guy like Marc-Andre Fleury, just a genuine human being. Says he doesn't want any special fanfare, although we know he's going to get it as he embarks on what is likely his final season this year in the crease. But yeah, he's locked up for another year. Then you have Philip Gustafsson, who is looking to have a huge bounce back this season. It was not a great year for Gus in the crease last year. You saw him really kind of flounder a little bit and saw Marc-Andre Fleury kind of take hold of the lion's share. And then this year you might get a good look at Jesper Wallstedt. He was the first round pick for the Wild a couple years ago. He's done a lot of great things in the American Hockey League, but I think it might be a situation where Bill Guerin looks at potentially carrying 3 goaltenders just to get Jesper some of that NHL experience and to get him at practices, learn under Marc-Andre Fleury, because after the season with the Flower very, very likely gone, you're looking at Jesper needing to be that guy in the crease next year. Again, a lot of that will be on how Philip Gustafsson responds this year as well. But that's kind of your situation. It might be more of a platooning situation where Jesper's going up and down and back and forth again, some of that due to some cap restraints. But I think Jesper's ready to take that next step. I'm excited to see what Philip Gustafsson can do. And Marc-Andre Fleury, just be you, man. I love it. I just want to see a little bit more of him around the rink in general, because it's just, you can't help but smile when you're around the Flower.
Will you see him in practice and here in training camp? Like when they were here in Sunrise, this shouldn't surprise me, but at his age, which I think he's 37 now, he was the first guy on the ice, obviously, because he was the starting goalie, but he was also the last guy off. He wasn't the first off in warm-up. He just loves being on the ice. He just loves the game. Every shot is like it's going to be his last. You can tell he's just enjoying playing more than ever, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the hardest thing for him to walk away is he just genuinely loves this game, loves being around it. And that's always the hardest thing for players, right? Is to say goodbye to the locker room, to say goodbye to the atmosphere. And he's a competitor too. I mean, he wants to go out there and win. I had asked him, I said, what do you think the hardest thing has been for you at this age to come into camp? And he said, it's literally just his age. It's a little bit more stiffness. It's a little bit more soreness. It's a lot of buzzing. I can barely get out of bed most days, and I'm about the same age as Marc-Andre, let alone jump in the crease and take shots, go whizzing by me. I don't know. He's a special being, that's for sure.
Yeah. Hey, the last time you were on, we were going into the NFL season. You were cautiously optimistic about the Vikings, and that was before J.J. McCarthy even got hurt. So how are you feeling about the 3-0 Vikes?
Whew, so good. Sam Darnold. I mean, I don't think anybody had that on their bingo card that he would be as dynamic and as electric as he has been. The way his accuracy just hits guys like Justin Jefferson. And not to mention, Sam Darnold's been great. You know how I feel about Kirko, Rod. So there's that. Moving on from him it's very nice to see. But this defense for the Minnesota Vikings has been absolutely outstanding. I mean, they are winning these games by a handful of points. It's not those one scores. It's not close. I am loving the Minnesota Vikings and what they're doing. But of course, as any Minnesota fan knows, we have to be cautiously optimistic because we're waiting for that shoe to drop. Unfortunately, we just can never fully commit. But right now, it's a heck of a lot of fun to be a Vikings fan.
Good stuff. Good stuff, man. Wonderful update. In the time we have left, which is less than a minute, tell folks where they can catch your stuff, Jessi.
We just dropped a new episode of Bar Down Beauties. Listen to it on all your podcast platforms as well as YouTube. And then NHL.com as the season kicks off. We'll be having more and more content rolled out from game days, features, all that good stuff. So always appreciate you, RP.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Keep up the great work, and we'll do it again soon. Enjoy the hockey.
Bye.
Jessi Pierce, as you just heard from NHL.com and Bar Down Beauties.